Hi, and welcome to As a Woman Sees It. And I know that this episode is a little bit late, but that's okay. I'm doing the best I can because my computer's not working that great. But anyway, this is actually, even though it's Friday, Wednesday's show. And it's going to be the People's Choice. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, and you can see my hand, the format for As a Woman Sees It before I go right into topic. I know the lighting is not great, and I can see the shadow back here with the backdrop. And eventually my background and setting will change because I'd like to be sitting. So just a little bit, that's kind of a vlogging intro to the show. So check back later. It might be a few episodes, but I'm going to have a little setup. A little set where I just do the As a Woman Sees It. And a table and chairs, and, it's going to be talk show-esque. Because that's what this is. Me talking and sometimes having guests about what I as a woman see. Issues. Okay, so People's Choice. My first episode that you saw last week, for those of you who watched it, was medical marijuana. Should it be legalized? And I thought it was a decent episode. I had editing problems, but I'll be working on that. But this episode is what's called People's Choice, where you, the viewers, either email me or video message me or somehow ask me a question. And it could be you or someone that I talk to on the street who asks me a question who knows that I do the show, or some friends or whatever. Well, and I try to stick to real issues for real people. But the big topic for everybody, and everybody's asking me, or some ladies that I know are asking me what I think as I see it, this week is a celebrity thing. And I'm so not big on celebrity issues, but I'm going to talk about it. Oh my God. Jamie Lynn Spears. You've got to be kidding me, right? Where do we begin? That's just the stupidest issue ever. This 16-year-old girl is knocked up by a 19-year-old, 18, 19-year-old guy, right? Now, apparently she has a children's show on Nickelodeon or Disney Channel or something like Zoe 101. And her fan base is 8 to 12-year-olds. And I've got to tell you, I've seen clips from that. I was kind of looking up the information when some of the ladies were asking me, well, what do you think? What do you see? How do you see it? So here's how I see it. She should be fired. I would tell my child that the show is canceled. And here's why. There's a lot of celebrities that say, well, people don't understand, the consequence of, she's having a baby. Yeah, right. She's going to have a nanny 24 hours a day. Ain't no baby. She ain't going to be changing no baby diaper. Her mama might, but she's going to have a nanny. She sold her story to OK Magazine for $1 million. So she's really getting paid to be an idiot. Okay? That just takes the cake right there. We have starving children even in the United States. And people dying in different countries. And, she's going to get $1 million for spreading her legs and get knocked up. Excuse me, and that may be really rude. But that's just how I feel about it. Where was the mother? When I was 16, my mom had a ball and chain on me, man. I barely got out of the house. I mean, this is ridiculous. Oh, and the mom was writing a parenting book that's apparently now been shelved. She should write a book, How Not to Parent. Okay? Who's going to read that? I think I saw something on the news where Joy on The View or something had said, that's like Jeffrey Dahmer writing a book on food. I loved that. That was so true. I mean, people are saying, well, you have to talk to the kids about it. Yes, you have to talk to the kids about it. But the bottom line is my 8-year-old, or most 8-year-old children, although you can talk to them and although they're smart, they're not going to be able to, at least some children, are not going to be able to separate her Zoe 101 character from her character on her real life persona. So they're going to think that it's okay to, get pregnant and everything's going to be easy and, all this other stuff. I mean, yes, she made a mistake. I'm not trying to crucify her. But I don't have any pity for her. Not one iota of pity. I'm just, that whole family. I feel bad for them, because it's exacerbated. The situation is exacerbated by the paparazzi and the media press. However, there's just no excuse for that kind of behavior. Now, if it was an adult and they were doing something, they play a nun, and in real life they're really a hoe. That's different because we as adults can differentiate their character from their real life persona. with children, if you have an 8 or 9 or 10-year-old, generally, they're not going to be able to distinguish the difference between her real character, as I said earlier, and, who she is in real life. So for me, they should either replace her on Zoe 101 or they should cancel the show. That's a little extreme because all the cast on the show should not be punished for her irresponsibility. And there has to be a consequence. And there's been people saying, oh, her consequence is she's having a baby. Please. She's being celebrated because she's having that baby. She gets to be a mom, which there are a lot of people out here who love to have children who can't. She's been getting patted on the back for it. She's going to have nannies, so it's not like she's going to have to do the sweating. She's not going to have to struggle to pay that baby's bills. It'd be different if she was in a trailer park and, grew up on welfare, or her parents on welfare or struggling to make it ends meet, and she didn't have no income and was trying to make it through high school. This child is pampered. So she ain't going to be doing no sweating except the few minutes she's in labor, and they'll probably knock her out. So I have no pity for her, and it's a poor role model, just like Britney Spears and a lot of these other girls are. But this child, and when and I'm almost at 6 minutes, but I do have to say this. And I shouldn't have said I'm almost at 6 minutes because this is a talk show format, not a vlog format. But I got to say, do you know how many 18-year-old young men are in prison right now, federal prison, on felony, pedophile, and child molestation and rape, statutory rape, right now, for this very same thing? And not one person has said anything about that except like Nancy Grace or something, her show or something like that. And they're saying, oh, there's not going to be charges pressed because, they were a long-term relationship. Well, most cases are. So what happens to all these kids, 18-year-olds, who are serving hard prison time, and their records are forever ruined? And if they're charged with, they're put on the list for children, sex offenders. Thank you. Ooh, can't even think. I'm so upset about the issue. Sex offender list. The only reason that this man is not being charged is because he is affiliated with somebody who has money and because she's famous. So what happens to the other kids, 18-year-old boys, and sometimes girls, if they're boyfriends, and they had sex and got knocked up by a 17-year-old boy, that are in prison? That is not even being addressed. So I really take issue with that, man, because it's rich people getting special treatment over the regular people. That's exactly what it is. She should not be paid and celebrated by OK Magazine for having this child. Now, you support her in terms of making sure she gets the medical care that she needs, and that's her family's responsibility, not mine. And make sure that that baby's taken care of, and, that she's maybe going to grow up a little bit. But this complete, absurd, outrageously ridiculous celebration of this child getting knocked up with no consequence is outrageous, especially when we have people out here struggling to put food in their children's mouths, and somebody's going to pay this woman, this girl, $1 million for baby pictures. There's so many thoughts on that. Here's how I see that. I would bend her over my knee and I'd bust that tail. And she wouldn't be making no money off of it. As a matter of fact, she'd be working at McDonald's instead of on a TV show, and she'd be having to pay every dime back and donating to the poor. Let her struggle like that. Then that's punishment, man. Let her do it on her own. Take away all her money that ain't really her money. That's how I see it. She needs a whooping. And I'm not a big spanker. I'm not an advocate of spanking. But in this case, somebody need to bend her over to her knee and whoop her. And the parents, too. Where were the parents? That's how I see it.